Meat City, baby.
Hello and welcome back to Meat City Gaming. JD here with another episode of Kicking Aces here in World of Tanks on the console. And in this video, I am playing my first battle in the T110E4. This is a tank that I had pursued back when I first played the game all those years ago, and I burned out before I could finish off the grind and unlock the tier 10. And all these years later, apparently that tank is still really good. It's still considered, I think, one of the meta tanks in the game. So when I came back, it was one of the goals that I had was to finish grinding that tank and unlock the T110E4. And I thought I wanted to record my first game in that tank, no matter how it went, and put it together for an episode on the channel. And so this tank, it's an interesting one. It's not my usual playstyle of like fast, zippy mediums with quick firing guns. No, this is a big bruiser of a tank destroyer. 850 alpha damage on that gun, 295 penetration, 375 on the premium rounds, and it's about a 15-second reload when you get your crew and everything rolling on this tank. You might be able to get down a little bit below that, but it's about 3 rounds per minute. One of the interesting things about this tank is it has a turret, but it only goes 90 degrees either way. It is not fully traversable, but it's pretty traversable. It's not too bad. Okay, so we're here in the first battle. I'm trying to line up my first shot, and I've got a Carnarvon downrange, and we're gonna try and steady ourselves. We're aiming, and no shot yet. Okay, so now an E50 pops up, and okay, this might be my first shot, and I start aiming, and there we quickly learn one of the limitations of this tank is the accuracy. 0.37 accuracy, so it's not great, but it's still pretty serviceable. We're at long range, and I did not let the tank fully aim. So that one is definitely on me. That is, of course, first shot jitters and not knowing the tank yet. That reticle is big, especially when you move or turn the tank. Now, for field mods, you can do some things to reduce the accuracy penalty for when you're moving. And I took a little bit of that, but not all of it, because for the first time, I took that advanced reloader module, the thing that lets you switch rounds on the fly, like immediately when they're fully loaded. So you can go from any round you want to any other round instantly when you're fully loaded with that piece of equipment. And I thought maybe that's a good one to try out for the T110E4 because you have such a long reload. Depending on the tank that you run up against, having that ability to maximize each shot is going to be really important. If a light tank is charging you, switch out and throw that high explosive round, get the extra damage. If you are up against a really tough, heavy tank and a heavily armored turret, again, high explosive to either splash and do some damage, or switch to the premium round to get the extra penetration to punch through. So I'm trying that out. I think it might be a good choice. I have enjoyed that freedom of switching. Again, if you're 8 seconds into a reload and then you decide you need something new, well, you're stuck with the choice. You're not going to be able to switch it out because then you're going to reset yourself to a full 15 seconds, and that's going to be pretty punishing. So other than that, it has 6 degrees of gun depression in addition to that weird 90-degree kind of turret traverse. So it's got good armor from the front. It is kind of this like in-your-face assault tank, good armor, not impenetrable. The T110E3, the non-turreted version, definitely has better frontal armor than this one, but it's very good. So I was thrilled to be getting this first game going, and there we go. Side turret of the 60 TP, first damage in the T110E4, and we rolled just about average, a hair over with 856 in terms of the damage there. So that's really nice. That's a cool feeling. I don't think I've ever had that feeling in a tank before, where every single time you do the right thing, you fire the shot from the right position, do damage to the enemy tank, it's big damage, right? You're running around in the night at tier 6, and you're like, I got position, I'm behind him, and like, pow, 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 I put in 3 shots, great, you did 340 damage. Okay, I mean, that's fine, but this big gun really makes for some spectacular moments and gratification when you do the right thing. Unfortunately, my team is not doing the right thing, and I'm sure I'm a part of this. I had some hesitation early on in this battle. I wasn't sure where to go. I wanted to go down the one line and kind of use the trees and let somebody spot for me and throw shots down range, but nobody went that way, so I thought that would be a death trap. I thought about maybe going up the hill, but the tank's a little bit slow, and that didn't seem like the right choice either. So I kind of was in this middle ground, and hey, there's that 60 TP again, and that secures our first kill ever for the career of the T110E4. So, hey, not a total wash. We're up to 1,209 damage. We got ourselves a kill. But yeah, the team is continuing to fall apart. 6 to 10, things aren't looking good. We're not really winning the hill. We have lost completely the other flank there. So it's looking bad. And I'm in this weird spot. I'm kind of stuck. I've got tanks from 2-3 different directions. There's hidden tank destroyers up on the hill. I took a huge hit. That must be like an FV 215B183, I think that's up there. So big tank, puts a shot into me. I lose 60% of my hit points there. And now we're just kind of stuck, right? There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to relocate. And I don't have anybody coming up to help me. So we get taken out. And that's a pretty inglorious conclusion to the first battle in the T110E4. But I said, no matter what, I was going to record that battle and put it up. I was not going to cherry pick that result. But after that battle, I did have a little bit of a bad taste, a little bit of disappointment. I thought, okay, let's keep going. Let's jump into my second game. I'll keep the capture going, and maybe we'll get a good game somewhere down the line, and I'll add that in after the bad first game, but it was the first game, and then hopefully contrast that with a really good game in the T110E4. Well, this is the second game in that tank, and we're on Siegfried Line in a standard battle. And again, this is one of those like weird maps, and maybe it's because I don't know how to play this tank very well, and I'm not super familiar with this map. There's a lot of play in the town, and how good you are in that role depends on how well you know those streets, right? If you come around the corner, how many alleys of sight do you have? Can you get between the two pillars to shoot that tank before he makes it around the corner, right? That's a level of expertise I don't have with this map. So it's a little bit handicapping to go into the town when other tanks that you're going to be facing probably have that knowledge, and I don't. But one thing to my advantage, when it's a city map, when you're in the corner, if we're going to poke and trade a hit for a hit, I'm going to win that trade 9 times out of 10 in the T110E4. So that's what I decided to do. I'm going to go into the tank, and I thought, well, maybe I'll guard the zero line here from any push. If anything kind of tries to cross or get early positions or early advances, I can put a big shot in and hopefully help hold that up against any encroachment from the enemy. And I'm here with a friendly tank. He's on the corner, so I don't want to block him or take that position. So instead, I'm kind of just back, peeking over. Hopefully, I've got some cover from my hull. And we did get a shot, like very quickly. We got spotted. I think it was that Centurion Action 10 that popped up. Tried to do a quick auto aim to throw the shot in. I knew we didn't have much of a chance there. That was definitely a chancy shot, but we took it, and it went into the embankment. We didn't connect there. So that position didn't really feel like it was going to pan out. There just didn't seem to be enough action going on there to reward me for being there. So instead, we're going to shift into the town a little bit deeper, and now I'm going to back up this heavy tank on my team in front of me here, and we'll see. Now I've got more options, right? Because if we push here, we can go left, we can go right, we can go center, rather than just being completely off to that one side. So we've got some nice views down the alley here, and oh, there goes a Cobra T-54 crossing right in front of us, and it's our first shot of the game, and it was a big one. 785 damage plus a fire, which ticked all the way up to 1,302. And on top of that, we tracked him, and so that allowed our tank, a friendly tank on our team, to finish him off. So we get a little bit of assistance damage on top there. That was beautiful. Side of the tank, big hit, tracked him, damage, fire. Like, that's great. That's a moment in the T110E4. And now we have a second opportunity. Here's an Object 432. He's on low health. He's backing up. Bang, 554 damage. That's an easy kill for the T110E4, and that's our first kill of the battle. Puts us up to 1,856 damage. And now we're waiting for this reload, There's the E100. All I can see is track. Maybe I'll track him. Maybe not. Maybe we'll also put in a big hit, 822 damage. I didn't know if I had enough of his tank to do damage or if I would just track him, but we had just a hair of it, and the shot flies true. So another big hit, and the E100 gets eliminated after we put in that second hit. Now, I think he was already tracked, so my shot definitely retracked him, but we don't get the assistance damage for that. Then we jump forward, and we had a shot there on, that was the Object 140, and he was pulling back, but we had a nice shot to go into him, and so we did another 818 damage, I believe. And hey, this is a pretty good game. 3,000, almost 500 damage, and we're ready to reload here. We're going to creep up, and now I've got a guy just around the corner. And this is what I talked about. I'll take a trade all day. It's the M48A2 120 millimeter. I think that's a newer tank. I'm not really familiar with it. He deflected his shot off my armor. Again, frontal armor pretty good. And I do not miss. 883, a high roll there, putting in some more damage. And then we come around the corner. We do take a little bit of damage, but I will trade that for a kill any day of the week. So that is our second kill, another about 450 damage. And hey, we're almost at 5K. Now that's an awesome game, especially for me. I was thrilled. Okay, so at this opportunity, M46 is in front of us, and I kind of had the front of his tank between those beams, but I held it for just a second, and then he rewarded me and turned side on. Boom, big shot in, another chunk of damage, and we damaged his ammo rack. So that was great. Hopefully he doesn't have his repair kit available. That's going to really handicap that tank. And then we're going to kind of try to come up here and finish him off. And there we go. M46 goes down. That's another 756 damage and our third kill. That's what I'm talking about. All right, WZ-111-5A, pretty far away. Again, these pillars, I'm not familiar with them. I don't think I can shoot through them. So I'm trying to struggle here. I take a shot. That's probably my worst shot of the battle. It tracks him, does no damage. I should have gotten a more direct on to the lower plate there. We take a couple of hits while we try to advance to get into position here. Now we have the lower plate. Boom, there we go. That's 813 damage into the WZ-111-5A, and my teammates rush in for the kill. And that hit put us up to 7,350 damage, over 7K. I think for the first time in my career, definitely a big number that we're seeing in this tank. Now I'm going to try and advance here. There's 2 tanks left. Now 1 tank, it's just the artillery. But one thing the T110E4 does not excel at is acceleration or top speed. So yeah, all these quicker tanks are going to get there before I can and take out the artillery and secure the win. 7,350 damage. And that is my second game in the T110E4. And it's also my highest damage game ever in World of Tanks. Just 2 games in this monster to beat my previous damage record. That's ridiculous. This tank is so good. I am immediately in love. As you could tell, before I even got into my first battle, I decked this thing out in camo, which isn't something I often do with a lot of my tanks. 7,350 damage, 3 kills, 1,523 base XP. That is a great game in the T110E4. And we could have had a little bit more there, right? We missed a little bit of assistance damage. We missed an early shot with the auto aim. We had the one that we put into the track in the 111-5A. So we left a little bit on the table, but that was a really good game. And we made credits, non-premium account, 34,000 credits profit using the T110E4. I think most of my shots, I think I ran out of regular rounds. I carry a lot of premium, a lot of high explosive. Tried not to use it if I don't need to. And hey, so we had a banger of a game and we made a profit, almost 8,000 XP. There are some bonuses going on here. I think there was like a 4 XP or a 400 multiplier for your first win. So like some crazy stuff going on here, but non-premium, non-reward, running a profit there with that total. And so you can see we did get 750 damage block. That was 1 or 2 shots that we deflected off the armor. And a great game that also got us a bunch of medals. We get the Duelist medal for destroying at least 2 vehicles that cause damage to my tank. Fire for effect, a pretty standard medal, cause more damage to enemy vehicles than the hit points of your team. Bruiser for knocking out a bunch of crew members doing some module damage. This is an interesting one. Sharpshooter, hit an enemy vehicle 10 times in a row without missing. Not bad for a tank with low accuracy. Again, we're in a city map, makes it a little easier. Master Gunner is one I do not see very often. 5 armor penetrating hits in a row against enemy vehicles. So really glad to get that one. And of course, a high caliber for all that damage, the highest damage in the battle. And as we'll see in a minute, it was by a lot. And that was worth a first class mastery badge. Yes, of course, it would be nice if my highest damage ever in World of Tanks resulted in an ace tanker, but not quite. This tank apparently is, like I said before, meta, ridiculous, really good. But highest damage ever, that qualifies. This is a Kicking Aces video without any hesitation. And so a quick look at the detailed stats. 1,523 base XP, pretty solid for a tier 10 vehicle. 3 kills, 7,350 damage with a little bit of assistance on top of that, 189. Again, I think I got like a hair of spotting damage maybe, and then that little bit of tracking on the T-54 Cobra as it ran across there. And so, yeah, my numbers are really good in this battle, and, you know, some solid performances from the team, but second place is way, way behind what you could multiply that by 3, and I don't think you would get there. It was like something crazy, like the next 5, second through 6th on my team combining their damage didn't quite reach mine. And look, this is an out of ordinary result for me. So, you know, I'm going to celebrate it and take it. You know, I get first place, I get MVPs, but this level of dominance and excellence, hey, it's definitely aided by the tank, but we made a lot of correct decisions there. And again, tank that I haven't figured out yet. Second game in, lots of stuff to learn, lots of tweaks, lots of things to get familiar with and comfortable with this tank. But man, everything was clicking in that battle. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you enjoy the T110E4, because I do think you will be seeing it some more on this channel if my first 2 games in it are any indication. So that's going to wrap this one up. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.